Hello guys, this is Pedro Raufi and you are watching the market review of today's, and we're going to go through the news background. We're going to see what is going on around the world and what kind of impact we could have on the market, on the stock market, on the cryptocurrency market, and on the Forex market as well. So watch this video till the end. At the end of the video, we are going to see what we are waiting from Bitcoin and Ethereum prices and price action during the day, during next sessions, and maybe till the end of the week. So let's go and see what is going on today to the markets. For today, due to the economic calendar, we have too many different type of releases, and most of them they're related to the central banks chiefs speeches, which could kind of have their own impact on the national currency of Britain and European Union, on the pound and on the euro. So as you know, the monetary policy of the European Central Bank is not going to change. They are going to continue the stimulus program. They are not going to cut this governmental help, and well, they're not going to tighten the monetary policy, but the Central Bank of England is going to tighten the monetary policy, and even we have some predictions for today which are telling us that the interest rate of the Bank of England is going to rise from 0.25 to 0.50. And that could be a really good trigger for pound to rise during today's European session. Next, we have different type of releases from United States as well. Initial jobless claims, weekly jobless claims, which are getting lower, which is a good signal for United States dollar. And as you know, pound is really powerful, but dollar as well is kind of rising. And for the end of the day, we have ISM non-manufacturing PMI, which is going to fall. So maybe during the American session, maybe from the start of American session, we could get some correctional movement on the dollar's index chart. And let's see what is going on with the dollar in the chart, which is kind of showing us that it's strengthening, and this strengthening happened exactly after the retest of the main support which we had. 95, 18, 96 was a really main important support, after the retest of which we got reversed. And this upward movement during today's session could continue, but as we're getting near to the American session, this movement could finish as we get retest 96.40 or 96.60. So here we have the range, the resistance range of 96.40 and 96.60, after the retest of which maybe this correctional upward movement which you have here would finish. And due to these factors, let's see what would go on with the Forex pairs. And here, the situation with Forex pairs is kind of showing us that the United States upwards correctional movement actually lead to some downward correctional, really low amplitude correctional movement on the euro, on the pound chart, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar as well. And with this downward movement continues, it would depend on how the prices are going to retest the local maximums. So if during today's session we won't get retest the local maximum of New Zealand dollar on 0.666, and if we won't get retest, for example, if we even don't get to these levels, if we just stop to rise under them and then reverse from them, I mean, if we are not going to get strengthened above these levels, for Australian dollar, this maximum is 0.7160. For pound is 1.36, and for euro is 1.13. Let's say 13.20. And in the case of further reversal from these levels, the next scenario is going to be bearish, is going to be pro-sales. And you need to just pay attention on this factor. Let's see what's going on with the S&P 500 and Dow Jones, the American stock market indexes, main indexes. As we see here, we have their own little low amplitude correctional downward movement because of the upward movement of the United States, which has opposite correlation with these indexes. And here as well, if we won't get higher than local maximums, the continuation of downward movement would be more logical during this session. But if we get strengthened above these levels, it means that all of these downward movements were just short-term correctional price action, which have actually already ended. So in this case, the continuation of downward movement, dollar's downward movement, could really help all of these assets to continue their rise. And next we have the price of commodity gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. Actually check all of them together and do the 4-hour chart to these assets. I can actually tell you exactly as well as the previous pairs. 4-hour chart is a midterm chart, so you can actually predict or see the picture of the midterm price action, which is going to happen during 2 or 3 days or during the week, for example. So due to this scale, we're going to see and predict where the prices are going to go and how they're going to act in the near future. So as you know, when dollar prices is kind of rising, gold cannot rise. And the opposite part is that when dollar is kind of falling, gold as well start to rise because of the opposite correlation. And the situation which we have now with gold is that prices, unfortunately, are losing the amplitude, they are losing the energy, and the accumulation here is not realistic. It's more look like a reversal pattern to me than accumulation. We don't actually observe any kind of divergence. Here is a really mild. There is actually no divergence here. But in the other case, the upward movement is going to be really moderate. So can we buy? I don't really think so. And if the situation, for example, the fundamental situation, are not going to escalate, something like the higher prices on oil, the higher prices on gas, or this kind of things, for example, the escalation of the situation near to the border of Ukraine and Russia, and the escalation of situation between China and United States, the trade war, all of these factors remain on the markets and they could make the commodity prices to rise. But for now, we don't actually have any kind of signals of future rise for commodity prices just because of this technical energy losing which we have here. It means that amplitude is getting lower, and this pattern really looks like a reversal pattern to me. And as well, we are higher than a really important level of 1,800, but we're losing the amplitude. Would we rise further? We have to just wait for the price to retest this level. And if we get strengthened above this level, this would be a good news. So for buyers, mainly, for buyers of commodity, mainly you have to wait. And on the other side, if you want to get into the trades, here the range, the risk range, which you have actually which you need to choose is really near to the price action, which makes your orders, makes your positions to be less unprofitable. So 1790 could be the border on which the risk of your positions of your order could actually end. You can actually choose this level. Due to the silver price action here as well, we have the potential of the retest of local support, and let's say this local support is 22 or 22.20. So 22.20 is the range which could get retested in the near future, and after the retest of this range, we could say where the prices are going to actually go. So are they going to fall further or they're going to reverse? And here we have a really important support. So would dollar in the near future at least start its own downward midterm movement or not? So all of this depends on dollar's price action, because we are waiting for dollar's reversal. At least the correctional reversal could for example continue during some days, so it could help for gold prices to rise, could help the stock market prices to rise. And the situation which we have now is telling us that dollar could really start again to rise. So to buy gold or to buy silver or other type of commodity in this midterm, I'm not really sure. And I can tell you that maybe we have to really wait for the retest of this local minimums of 22, 20. And if we get stuck under this level, this would be a really bad signal for buyers. It means that actually the buying orders or the long positions are going to be closed. Platinum and palladium are really shrinking of volatility, a real shrinking of volatility, which is really visible. And as I said in the yesterday's review, here I found the divergence between maximums of the week and the line of oscillator, which means that prices are going to reverse. So here we have some false breakthrough, and are we going to strength above 24? I'm not so sure. So everything depends on this level. We can retest it again, like impulsively, which would be a speculative movement, which would be a movement on which you don't have to really pay so much attention, because it would be a real speculation which just make you to lose money as a buyer, as a bull on the market. So you just need to wait for the retest of this level. At least we are all waiting for this reversal downward, because amplitude is getting lower. We have the shrinking of the price, the volatility within a channel, within an upward channel near to the top of the market, which is not a real good signal. That was palladium, and of course the platinum showing us that the shrinking exists here as well. But we had some important level of 1040, which have been retested from previous times. Actually, we had $1,040. Here was a mirror level which have been retested, and prices are kind of get stuck under this level. So the future trend is going to be downward mainly, and we have to wait for the retest of 1000 again. So after the retest of 1000, maybe we could get into the long position, but before the retest of 1000, here we have some probability of the continuation of downward movement, and it would look like the candle formation, which are kind of showing us that they are kind of getting lower and lower, the maximum is getting lower and lower, and that's a pressure which we could have on the buyers, which are located around $1,000. So this kind of pressure would mean that this level is going to get broken, and after this breakthrough, the impulsiveness of this breakthrough could show us are the prices going to reverse or no. So we have to wait for the test of 1000 as a fact for platinum. United States dollar to Swiss franc and United States dollar to Japanese yen as well. They're showing us that this was dollar's correctional upward movement, which now is realizing. But could this continue? The potential exists on the market, but you just need to wait for the retest of nearest resistance of 0.9260. And for United States dollar to Japanese yen, you have to just wait for the retest of nearest resistance and the level of 115.20. And after the retest of these levels, you would be more sure about the continuation of upward movement. So upward movement could really continue to these levels. But after the retest of these levels, there would be a probability of the next reversal or the continuation of consolidational movement, like here, for example, for United States dollar to Swiss franc. And for Japanese yen as well, here we have a real powerful resistance, which won't give prices to go higher. So 115, 115.20 are the levels after the retest of which prices are going to show us, are they going to rise further or they're going to reverse. Next comes WTI prices, the oil prices, which are showing us that actually the long-term divergence continues, and here's not a really good news for buyers, which are now have an active maybe positions in the market. So here, as you know, fundamentally we are waiting for the rise of oil prices to $100 or $150 even. So some banks just yesterday told that maybe it would be not 150, 120, let's take the middle, and this would be more correct. So 100, 120 doesn't even matter. That's a really big range of the profit for any kind of order. So you just need to know that before this kind of movements, mainly you are going to have some speculative opposite movement, which just makes you to just get out of the market, just activate your stop loss order, and that's all. So if you get into the market after the strength and above 84, I have some bad news for you. 84, $85, they're going to get retested in the near future, and they could make you to even activate your stop loss around 80 or 82, where it's located. If you get into the market after the retest of 85, it means that your stop loss is around 82 or 80. So all of these levels from 84 to 80, they could really get retested, and we could get a retest of these levels in a really impulsive way, and this could happen really fast, and markets could return to the upward movement as fast as it can. So just make all of the bulls which just came to the market to get out of it and continue to rise. So the targets are 100 and 120, but you have to pay attention that here we have the prediction, we have the probability of downwards correctional movement for oil prices, and today's 4-hour chart is showing us that there is a probability. Any upward movement in the near future would be speculative as well. So you just need to pay attention that any upward movement, any breakthrough or renewing of maximums in the near future, in the near sessions, it could be speculative. So you don't really have to react and open any buying position due to this kind of movements. And you better wait for the retest of the local minimums. And if you are working intraday and you are actually trading the intraday levels or daily levels, so you just need to know that 86 and 85.50 are going to retest now, and after the retest of this range during the day we could get some upward movement, so you're gonna catch it, but your scale of trading could have to be realized due to the borders which you have, the price borders which you have on the 15-minute chart or 5-minute chart. So pay attention on this factor as well. United States dollar to Canadian dollar, pound to Canadian dollar. All of them are the equation between United States dollar and pound to oil prices. So as you know, Canadian dollar got a really straight correlation with oil prices. When oil prices rising, Canadian dollar rises as well. And when oil prices start to fall, Canadian dollar falls as well. So in the case of dollar prices rising and the oil prices downward correctional movement, we have a really mild, really moderate upward impulse on the United States dollar to Canadian dollar. So in the case of the continuation of this scenario, this upward movement could continue, but you just need to know that 1.27, 1.2660 are the range, is the range which could get retested again. So before we get under this range and before we get stuck under this range, the upward movement could continue. But any downward impulse inside this range don't have to be the reason or the trigger to open short positions, because this kind of movements, like forming of one candle with a high impulse with a closure under 1.2650 or 1.2660, that's not a short position signal actually. And it could really end like this or like this. I mean, with this next reversal. So pay attention on this kind of signals. And to GBP Canadian as well, we have some shrinking and probability of downward correction. But after this downward correction, mainly we are going to continue the upward movement here. And let's see what's going on with Bitcoin prices and Ethereum prices. From previous time when we talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum, the situation kind of changed, and we don't really have too much bad news background or harsh news background. So the prices are kind of strengthening, but that strengthening is not really powerful. So it's not sharp, it's moderate, and in some cases maybe this trend could continue. For Ethereum, for Bitcoin, this upward trend could really continue. So 3,000 for Ethereum and for Bitcoin 40,000 is the next target level, so they could get retested. And that was all for today. Thank you guys for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe on the channel. Don't forget to use our instruments which we have on our MetaTrader 4 and 5, which are the risk manager and the algorithmic trader, which could help you to make more profit with your trades. So don't forget to check the official site and take information from there. And don't forget to subscribe on the channel and ring the bell so you won't miss any programs further. Till next time, have good tradings. Bye bye.